Today is January the 20th, 2021. This is the Service Hero Show, 365 Days of Awesome. Celebrate success through service. My name is Tamara Hunter, and I am your host. This is the show where we share inspiring stories of those that are inspiring others. So let's do this. On this special day, we have a very special service hero, someone that I actually call Coach. And yet, at one time I did it. We're going to get into that. This is a woman, Cheryl Snapp Conner, that knows what she is doing from the PR world, and yet so many other areas she actually serves and is a service hero. You're going to be hearing about that today, and by the end of this show, I have no doubt you will agree with me that she is truly a service hero. Let's welcome people today, and then I've got someone that's going to help me, actually a few people are going to help me to introduce Cheryl. Good afternoon, Helene Wilson, our ambassador of the chat, first ambassador of the chat. Glad you're here with us. Thank you. Thank you for welcoming me. And we are live on the E360 TV platform. Yay. Now, if you have not gone yet to get your app of E360 TV, I suggest you do. You will love the programming. And yeah, check out the Service Hero shows. You can watch them on demand. And we have Coach Chuck with us. Coach, aloha. Great to see you. Love you. And Charlene K. Fouts, so glad you're here. I truly am. Hope you're doing well there in Florida. And yes, our coach from the Impactors. So before we go too much further, I'm actually going to get a little help from our friends.
Hey, Cheryl Snapp Conner, Misty Lane here. So why is it, Cheryl, I think you're a service hero? Oh my gosh, you have touched my life personally, and I'm so proud and honored that I can speak to this as being on the next Impactor, the next Global Impactors team, Cheryl. So fortunate to have you as my coach and to become my friend. I learned so many things from you just about being a professional woman, about being an entrepreneur, about keeping your work ethics and your professionalism and everything you do across the board. And I love you for that. You taught us on Team Cheryl how to be a team. You taught us how to pull together and utilize each other's strengths, and taught us that we could all come together and be stronger together than we were alone. And I will forever be grateful for you for that. You're a hero because, Cheryl, all of that time that you gave, you volunteered it. You volunteered your time to coach us on that 9-month-long competition. I mean, that's commendable because I know we took a lot of your time. We took a lot of your efforts in coaching. You're a PR guru. I just love you. I love how you've been supportive of me and my kids since day one. I just adore you, and service hero you are. I love you, lady. Bye.
Cheryl Snapp Conner, what do we say about her? What's not to say? She's an amazing woman, heart-centered, service-centered, extraordinarily capable and competent at what she does, has helped so many people achieve their own outcomes, and does it with such grace and such service and such care and such love. I've learned a lot from you, lady. I respect you, I admire you, I love you. Ciao.
Wow! And we have Lauren Harris here saying hi, y'all. Hi, Lauren. So, yes, aloha, Coach. And so many more. I want to just, I want to welcome everybody that are here for the show and honoring Coach Cheryl Snapp Conner. So how does it feel to be, sharing the love with you?
Wow, this just feels like a reunion. I miss our time in Chicago together. That we made history. We did, all of us. We made history, and it will not be forgotten. Look at everything that's happening since. I'm just stunned.
And I would agree with you. And for those of you that do not know what we're talking about, okay, I have a little bit more to share, and it might give you a little bit of an insight into it, because we're going to take a little bit of a little time traveling, and then we're going to get into the present, and then go into the future together. So hold on to your seats today.
We all have hopes. We all have dreams. We all have a purpose, and we all have a message. The time has come. That day is here, where a door of opportunity stands before you right now. That chance, the moment where you have the opportunity to change everything. And everything has the opportunity to change you. Sharing our messages, our stories, our gifts, our truths. Well, that is what living is truly all about. Creating legacy and crafting healing from all directions. Now is when it all comes together. Right now is when it all begins to make sense. So bring all that you have ever lived. Bring all that you are today. And bring all that you hope to ever become. Now, ask yourself, am I the world's next impactor?
Wow.
The Next Impactor. Yes, The Next Impactor is a program, like a streaming media show that was all about and is all about those that can impact the world with change to make the world a better place. And you signed on as one of the coaches, one of 5 coaches. And I want to say personally, thank you for doing that. And it was quite the race against time, is how it was always put, because we did not really race against each other. That's why it was a team, if you will, sport. What is it that attracted you to join it originally?
I have to be completely honest. I was recruited. So we have Jason Cisneros to thank or to blame or all of the above, that he said I needed to do this. And it's hard to tell Jason no. I don't ever often tell him no. But then once in the program, somehow, respect to every team, but somehow I think our team got the strong end of the deck. We had so many contenders. That team just kicked butt and took names. I'm so impressed.
Oh, well, okay. So this picture here is a picture before we were picked on teams. Yeah. Right. The 4 of us from Southern California, Teresa, we kind of adopted, and Missy, but we were there in Southern California at an event. We're all, joining the Next Impactor. Mikey had just decided to get involved. So we have Teresa Snyder, we have Misty Lane, we have Mikey Adam Cohen, and of course myself. And the 4 of us were like 4 musketeers starting out. And then the teams were called. the 3 of them all ended up on your team.
How did that happen?
And then I didn't, and I love my team. Please, Team Todd, love you guys. Yet it was like, wow, okay. And then you had so many more. Your team was absolutely incredible. So we're talking about teams, guys, but I want, I have this board here that's going to talk about what this was all about. There were when we first started to put our name in the hat, let's just say, someone that throughout the world felt that they could impact the world, because that was really what it's all about. Do you have a message, a cause, a mission, something that you can take out there to make a difference in the world? And over 200 people put their name in the hat. And then the teams were called. So we had some things that we had to do up to this particular point, and then names were put in, the ones that qualified to be in the top 50, because it was 5 teams of 10. So we didn't know who qualified as the top 50, and then we certainly didn't know what teams we were going to be on. And the names were called, and this is what we were looking at. And so your team, when you look at who you have there, bless you, and the original 10, and then there were all sorts of twists and turns, and it ended up that there was some changes that took place in the team dynamic. You really did end up with a significant powerhouse team.
I did. That was good news, but that, as it got further though, that made it difficult too, because the teams were pruned down. And when the coaches had to put in votes for the 5 who rose to the top, I shed tears. This was terrible. I was begging. I was trying to finagle under the table, anything I could do. One more, just one more, 2 more, because everybody in our team was so qualified.
Right. And in fact, okay, so here we go. And guys, this was, in truth, it was 9 months of, 24-hour, 7-day-a-week kind of challenge to see what you're made of. Because if you're going to impact the world, you got to be willing to turn on a dime and do a lot of, midnight, because it was like the Mission Impossible. We get the Mission Impossible. Okay, now who's up? Who needs to lead the next project? And you get the dun 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 dun. I mean, really, seriously, they did the music and the challenge was always some kind of like it's in code. What are we supposed to do with this? And you're trying to figure out, how do you even maneuver through the challenge? How do you win the challenge? How do you do this? It was brilliantly done. Brilliant. And the 2 founders of the concept, forever will I believe that they genius, absolutely genius. And so this night we're the 5, your 5 there, Shelley Hart, Jody Parr, Misty Lane, Teresa Snyder, Mikey Adam Cohen. Mm-hmm. The wild card. We always knew that there could be a wild card. There was a wild card played. And that wild card, you actually had someone from your team transferred over to mine. Mm-hmm. That was pretty significant. And Coach Chuck.
The last name named, and I was sweating bullets. That was a tense moment.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I think we were all on pins and needles that night. We
were.
Because, by then, we had been so entrenched in this work, and I have to admit that it was beautiful to see how even people were working cross teams. Mm-hmm. When there was a need, and there was a real need, people were like, because impacting the world is not about being selfish. Yeah. Right. And we've got quite a few comments, and I want to be able to recognize who's saying what. And he loves you, just absolutely loves you. And we, I'm grateful for that. And yeah, so blessed to have two amazing coaches. And you were the only one, Charles, Coach Chuck is what we call him. He was the only one of all of us that ended up on two different teams. So such a unique perspective that he actually got to have. Yeah, he got drafted.
Thank heavens.
Right.
It wouldn't have been the same without Coach Chuck. He had to be there. Everyone had to be there. So there was a lot at stake.
And so, thank you for the opportunity, and grateful for the opportunity. What I wanted to also share, because this is the Service Hero Show for Cheryl Snapp Conner, and in painting the appropriate picture for everybody that's watching right now, you will understand how I absolutely deeply appreciate Coach Cheryl Snapp Conner, because there are people that come into situations, you come as you are, and we were in a bit of a pressure cooker there for a while. It really was. And the first season of anything, and it's a huge undertaking. And we're in the middle of some things being slightly changed here and there because they needed to be. Thank you, both, the founders of the program, the Next Impactor, and the Grace Under Fire is what I think of. And you had it in droves. You really did. I don't know what it was like for you behind closed doors, but when you showed up with grace and professionalism, and your team, because, if you will, my best friends were on your team. And so I was hearing all the time how much they so appreciated the way you handled the team meetings, and as things were changing, because your team ended up with a lot of the personnel changes, if you will, right?
We did. So it was quite the experience, and I will never forget it. I will never forget experiences like seeing someone, Misty Lane, first time editing a video, and it was not even her week's assignment, editing for the first time from a train on a smartphone to help make that happen. You just don't see that kind of commitment.
Right.
It's just amazing things I saw happen. It was such an experience.
I agree 100%, because what ended up happening, guys, again, let's pick this out. Reality TV. Who likes to watch it? So many of the music shows, so many of the, all sorts of reality type programs where there's judges and there's competition and there's, rising to the occasion. And a lot of that's on network TV. This, I believe, will be at some point. I really do. This franchise, I do believe, will go there, because we need global impactors that want to help make a difference in this world. And the premise of this was, again, it was always brought up to us that it's a race against time. And I finally, I remember thinking at one time, race against time. Okay, what are we really saying here? But then it started to make sense. It made more and more sense, and it has made more and more sense since we were originally there. Things change as some things we are creating for the first time evolve. Right, exactly, Lauren. I have to say, I have believed in this brand since since the beginning, and the ebb and flows and the changes and everything that took place during it, if you will, which were, in truth, it would be expected of anything that's new. And I think it was handled so well. Yet, when you have busy people that believe that they're going to make an impact on the world, You're already asking for, how do you create the time? That's where the race against time. Yes, the race against time when it comes to you have a deadline for this project or you have that, but also the race against time within your own life and what your mission is that you're there to then take out to be an impact in the world. That in itself is brilliant. The race against time. And teamwork. Yes, that is what, when I think of you, I think of a true service hero, service leader, servant leader, someone that also what I was getting from your teammates or those that are on your team was that you help them to bring out the best in them.
That's the idea. It's what we were in this for.
Mm-hmm. And you did.
Yeah. It was great because each of them, of course, were individual competitors as well as a team.
Right.
And so to give them the best thinking I could to bring out the best in them, but of course needed to hold everyone's confidence and not do anything that would, I couldn't impact the outcome. I could only impact the people.
Right.
In bringing their best selves forward and telling them what I would do, what I would suggest.
So this is something that they produced for you during the competition.
What I appreciate about the Next Impactor is that my team members trust me and my leadership capabilities and advices. Thank you, Coach Cheryl, for always inspiring and encouraging us throughout this whole process.
Thank you, Coach Cheryl. You have taught me that we can accomplish so much more together as a unified team than we ever could alone. I appreciate your guidance, your structure, and your friendship. Love, Misty.
Coach Cheryl, Michael Kyra here. Just wanted to give you a big shout out and thank you so much for your continued support and motivation throughout this entire process of the Next Impactor and showing us that consistency is key. Thank you.
Cheryl Conner, I want to acknowledge you for your effective communication skills and how you have always strived to teach that to all of us on this team. Thank you for coaching us. You're amazing.
I just want to say thank you, Coach Cheryl. You guide, empower, and inspire me.
This goes out to Cheryl. We thank you for everything you do. You are a PR giant. You give us countless knowledge and wisdom and nuggets to help us in this Next Impactor competition to make our team the most successful.
What I learned from Cheryl is to share my ideas no matter how bold or unusual they might be.
Coach to coach, you have shared an amazing message with your team. Unity. And for that, we are all grateful. Mahalo.
Cheryl, you have taught me what an authentic leader is, and I thank you.
Coach Cheryl, you are amazing. I love you. I want to say thank you for all that you do. I want to say thank you for taking the time to be our coach, for guiding us and giving us the encouragement and strength that we need. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you. That's amazing. What a team.
What a team. And Lauren is saying there was a reason for the first group decision was to choose a nonprofit to support as a collective. Yes, absolutely. And that was a really big part of what it is that we learned. I really, Lauren, thank you so much for this brand, because, I was one of only a couple of the entrants. There was a few of us actually that came in with a mission that was somehow tied to a nonprofit. Not everybody did. It wasn't a requirement. However, it ended up being a big part of what we did. And that was to find collectively, when it was the 10 of us, a nonprofit that our team would support, and then go out and support it, find out what they need. And then that was a big part of what then whittled down to then the first Next Impactor being chosen in the top 5 of which ended up being actually 6 people, representing the brand. And the first group decision was to choose the nonprofit. How did that go in your group?
That was really difficult because there are so many good alternatives, and there were so many great ideas raised, support for orphanages with direct help, and plastic in the ocean. That was another big one. And the one that we settled on, Ryan's suggestion, was disabled, but not really. It was around the disability needs of some of our veterans, and providing them with a place to go and equipment and nourishing food so that they could stay healthy, could stay fit. It was tough. And I saw a lot of teamwork and sacrifice in boiling all of those good choices down to one decision. That was not an easy thing, but that team came together and then put its whole heart and energy around the thing that we decided. Even in the cases that it wasn't somebody's vote, they came forward anyway. So that was a real big experience for us.
And that, again, with having the right coach, the right leadership, helping to then say, okay, we had our differences we brought the different ideas forward. This is the one we're choosing. Now let's go forward and serve this nonprofit in the very best way we can as team, Coach Cheryl. And Lauren is saying Ryan is my guest tomorrow on Bathroom Moments. Well, excellent. Looking forward to that. And our 2 top both represented. Yes. Myself and Emily, both of us were, representing nonprofits when we came in. Emily Silman. And so, very interesting that the number 1 and number 2 ended up being affiliated or having the cause be a nonprofit. In my case, I went under my name. However, that was really my platform. And then in Emily's case, she went in kind of a dual, the name of the nonprofit and her name. And so, it was kind of a dual situation. And there you go.
And I'll even point out, Misty, who was the 3rd place winner, she represented the nonprofit. She represented ours, disabled, right, but not really. And I don't know that I have seen anyone work so tirelessly with everything that she had going with the little grandbaby in the hospital and her own work to do baked goods and sales and it just everything to raise awareness and resources for that organization. Huge. And that was a nonprofit, and it wasn't one that she had been affiliated with. So even more the challenge, but she just went to work.
Oh, yeah. And so much so that then afterwards, now she's the vice president of the nonprofit that I have. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. We were, and many of those that were involved with the Next Impactor, and that's one of the morals of the story here, guys, are working together. We're working together on causes, and because it collectively taught us to work together as teams. And I truly love that. So, I do want to share some more pictures, and then we're going to go into some more stuff because you guys stay tuned. You want to be here. So here's some of the fun outtakes. Before, because here we did do practice and got together, and all of us had been working one way or another, some internationally. And then we get to come together in the greater Chicagoland area. That was fun, wasn't it?
Before the evening gowns, this is what we did. We admit it.
Yeah. So, I'm loving the photos and the fun. And then it all came to the finale on August the 30th. And that was 2019, August the 30th, 2019. And this process started at the end of 2017, 18, 19. Yeah. So they started to let people know that there was this coming. And, it's like, what is it? What is this going to be? And so then there was the education and so then here we go. We're going into August the 30th, and we're in the greater Chicagoland area in a mansion. It was beautiful, wasn't it?
Yes, I will not forget the Stan Mansion. That was amazing.
And then there you guys are, the 5 coaches. What was that like to work with the other coaches?
Oh, I love them. Friends for life. You know, you might hear Todd and Jason trash talking each other. It's all in love. Love those guys.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're like brothers.
Yes.
That's what they remind me of. They're always in competition.
Yes.
And it's always so funny to listen to them, especially whenever they're talking about moi, you know, because I was on Team Todd. Yet Jason, you know, Jason is Jason. Love Jason, love Todd, love them all. And, you know, absolutely a great group of coaches. So then here we are. You have the top 25 on the stage. That was pretty exciting, wasn't it?
Yes, it was intense. And there were surprises. Nobody knew what was going to happen. There were surprises right till the final minute.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. We had, yeah, absolutely. And then we have Lauren singing a beautiful song. Yes. What a voice. Doesn't use it enough.
That was great.
We need to hear your voice more, Lauren. Absolutely. And yes, Misty Lane crushed it. You're right. Absolutely. And she still does all the time. Misty, she knows how much I love her. You talk about someone that will always face things with grace and is there when most people would be curled up in a corner because of everything that has happened and and up to today, we're like, okay, Misty guys, universe, Misty deserves a break.
Yeah.
Amazing woman. And she continues to share how much you mean to her and your example is to her. And
likewise, I love her for life.
And yes. And Carol, yes, amazing voice. Yes. And the song was beautiful. Yes, it was so true.
Even
Carol,
Jason had to admit it.
And it's always funny when he does.
Yes.
So then you have, and I love this, you have the top 5, which is actually 6 people because there's a couple there. And when you look at that, what is pretty exciting about it is that each one of the 5 coaches has someone up there on that stage.
As it turned out.
That in itself, to me, was such an example that this program was a program that works because it showed how equally, yoked, if you will, all the coaches were, all the contestants, if you will, were the impactors, because I consider each person that put their name into the program an impactor. The fact that they were willing to put their name into something that had never been done before because of the concept of making our world a better place, that's an impactor. So then we ended up having the impactor chosen. And that was a pretty, I have something to share with that because it was kind of like we didn't know what was going to happen. And then the name was called.
Welcome to tonight's outstanding event, The Next Impactor. Are you guys excited? Yes.
It's not about us as much as it is about our impact. And so I am so grateful for the causes that we're working with.
Our 2019 Next Impactor winner, Tamara Hunter.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, and what a remarkable moment that was. Yes. And then there were more winners too.
Mm-hmm.
Teresa Snyder wins Best Dressed and is featured in an international magazine because of it and that's a pretty good picture of her and Danny Torres. Beautiful.
I don't think there are any bad pictures of her. She's amazing.
Oh, I know. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Absolutely. And so, in the end, really, truly, I believe that everyone that got involved in this program, we were all winners. We were all winners. And yes, one name was called. However, one name really wasn't called, because the name that was called, my name that was called, yet many, many, many of the impactors are working alongside me. And so it really ended up being all about learning how to work as a team to make a difference. That is the brilliance of this, right?
I agree. It's the best things learned were everything that we and everyone in the program could do together and are still doing. It's nearly 2 years later, and look what's happening. Look what's taken hold. And it won't end there either.
No. In fact, here, I got to fix something here real quick, because I've got something else to show you guys that is pretty significant. I just have to find my cursor. I'll show it in a second. And that is, here we go. Good. Let's see from this screen. Okay. So, because 2 years, and you just mentioned it, 2 years, it's a 2-year term. We didn't know that. COVID kind of helped make that happen. However, we have a second season that's coming up. It's going to be announced here soon. And if you want to be following, and if you want to be considered for it, here is the Facebook page for you to go and join, so that you can get updates about what the second season is going to look like, because there will be a new impactor crowned, the next global impactor crowned. And I am so excited that there is going to be a second season. And I just heard today, and so this is, up to the minute information, guys, that they're switching it up a bit, and because that's what they do. That's what this is all about. You have to be willing and able to kind of, if you will, turn on a dime if you're going to impact the world. And so they're doing a little of that. And this year, this season, second season, the coaches are going to be celebrity coaches, and from like the entertainment world and such.
Wow.
And so, yeah, so that should be fun and interesting and different, and cannot wait to hear more of it. So anybody and I'm asked all the time, when is the next one going to be? Yes, what a wonderful night. I will remember it forever. And it wasn't because of the name being called. You know what I'll always remember, Cheryl, was the feeling in that room.
It was pretty great. It was pretty unique.
Yeah.
Unforgettable.
Tears.
Yeah.
When you have heart-centered people, truly heart-centered people that believe in purpose and that we can make this world a better place, and you bring them all together, you can feel it in the room.
I think the impactors had as much impact on each other as the outside world, and that's a huge thing to realize and to experience. How has all of that team impacted each other and continuing to do so? It's an amazing thing.
Oh, I absolutely agree. I agree. Okay, I'm going to put the link up one more time, and keep it up right now. And in fact, that was brought up just recently with one of the impactors, about that very thing. And we're always, the logo that the nonprofit that I am the president of and that I ran basically on that platform, it got cleaned up by Brooke, who was on my team and now is one of my volunteers. And Misty Lane, number 3, is now the vice president of the organization. Christopher, who is number 4, Autism to Artism, is one of the leadership within the organization. You have all the others. Emily, she's a part of our organization and is a member, a buddy. And then the Kieslings, they've been, service heroes and have been there and supported. And when you look at all the other ones, that is when you know that you have something that is spectacular. And I believe, really in my core, I believe that the coaches really set the tone. And that is one of the reasons I wanted to recognize you. I wanted to recognize each one of the coaches, and you are the one that I have yet to have recognized individually as a service hero. And you truly are. Now, what you do in your day job, I mean, because the thing that I really appreciate what they did, and we need to bring up also that it was talked about the prize package, and there was a lot of misunderstanding when it came to that. And it really came, since my name was called, a lot of people then came to me and were they thought, oh, you have $500,000.
Not exactly that. Not that Forbes.
And let's be clear about that, guys. However, what happened was there was a people with different skills, well matched, very thought out, PR, TV, business and sales, and all the different elements that you need to be successful as an impactor. The combination of the 5, you had all of those elements. You had the magazine, the book editor, the international influencer. You had all of this in all 5. And then the prize package ended up that you received help with what it is that you were doing. And you actually helped, and I had a feature article on the front page. Yeah, it was amazing. I want to say thank you for that. And you had been watching, and then it was like, okay, it's time to move now. We have a story to go forward with. And that's where the genius comes in having the right people in the right positions, right?
Yes, absolutely. And it's a learning process, as all of us go to.
Yes.
You would think, oh, it's great to be on the cover of a magazine because I'm featured. But what really matters, your one and only set of constituents, is those readers. What will interest them? What will add value? And then they're really more compelled to know about you, what it is that you're doing, what is giving you so much passion you're willing to go to the trouble you had to go to fight down hackers when they tried to take your philanthropy down.
Right.
Of all the low on the food chain things to do, there were people trying to hack your list and raise money.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Right. They thought they found, low-lying fruit. Well, this is where, and I love
the headline said, they messed with the wrong girl.
the wrong team, and that's where I'm grateful for the team. And a lot of the team were the impactors that helped to fight this off. And, because Brooke was very much involved in it, and there were others, and the team just went into full force. We were, we rallied the troops, if you will. And not only were we able to take them out, we were able to make others aware, and and thank you for the article, because it really was all about be aware, protect your brand, protect your, especially if you are helping others, help to protect them. And I loved the article that came out of that.
Well, I don't think anyone who reads that article is going to forget the image of this woman at the head of an organization with 9 social media sites, sitting there at your keyboard, outsmarting the hackers and typing in faster than they can undo you, and thinking, what can I do that they can't stop? And getting your video up, they couldn't block it.
Right.
So that you could tell your followers what was happening and tell them what to do, and getting your password changed fast enough. I mean, most people, they'd cry, they'd give up, they'd call the police. You outsmarted them. I just love that. And I'm sure everyone else did too.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And, and it just lets everybody know that we need to be aware and work together to make a difference and protect who it is that we are about. I have a project that I'm doing here at the Service Heroes, and it's about intention. And I want to share a brief little video of someone that has shared an intention, and then I want to go into it with you and talking about it, also looking at it in a PR way for 2021, and kind of, tap into you as the guru that you are. So here we go for a moment, guys. Let's have some fun with Fran.
Hi, I'm Fran Capo, the Guinness Book of World Records fastest talking woman and author, adventurer. And I was asked, what word would I use going into 2021? And the word that I would use is creativity. Creativity is the spark that allows you to think of things outside the circle, the box, the rectangle, the world. It allows you to come up with different types of answers to a common question. It allows you to look at things because you have to be creative to look at it a different way. If you have a business that's struggling, I'm a stand-up comic. I can't perform live right now, so I have to figure out Zoom shows. We're going to try to attempt the longest Guinness World Record Zoom show. You have to think of creative ways to take what you have and what you love and be able to adapt it to whatever things are thrown at you in life. Creativity has allowed me to not just do a book signing, but a book signing at the top of Kilimanjaro, a book signing down by the wreck site of the Titanic. Creativity allows you to solve things in ways you never did. Explore your creativity and let your life blossom. Create a good day.
Creativity. And so I wanted to bring that up because, well, first of all right, you've had some incredible experiences. I mean,
yeah, I guess I have. That was an evening. That was a moment.
That was
I
a
got
moment.
to interview John Travolta. That was an amazing night.
Yeah, and that was a night where they were raising funds, and it was all about helping nonprofits, helping to serve, service hero kind of activity. And then you showed up and you got to hang and interview with John Travolta and others that were there. An incredible night of what was like a Monte Carlo kind of poker fun entertainment from City Gala, City Summit. And so you come from the world of PR. Right now, we are in a time where businesses have had to really rework it. Like Fran was talking about, she's a stand-up comic. She's having to rethink about how she does things because people are not going to the comedy clubs right now. If they are, social distancing. How do you be funny with a mask? I don't know. And what are you seeing? What are the things that you're seeing as a PR expert right now?
Well, it's pretty amazing because when we were there in Chicago, the big secret that I said to everyone from the stage when we were doing the workshops, when we were teaching, I just said, whatever hits you, and it will, your byword should be, what did this just open up for me? And none of us, nobody there, me included, knew what was about to hit all of us. And when it did, it was really, really interesting to see what happened, like in an instant. On March 15th, we, like everyone else, had 60% of our business paused or had to go away, like in a day. And the ones who remained, they were leaning in deeper. They didn't have more money to spend, but they were leaning in deeper. And then we had to figure out what to do as business owners, and some incredible leaders out of the board of advisors all gathered together and started having every morning calls to collaborate and strategize together. The man who was selling luxury cars, what's going to happen? And all of that brain power coming together to figure out what he ought to do next. What does this open up for us? And I noticed that the entrepreneurs inherently, instinctively, without even thinking about it, do exactly that. They lean in, they got stronger. One thing that I'm so honored by is that the regional group of entrepreneurs I'm a part of, the award that they gave me at the end of the year was kick 2020's butt. And yeah, I guess I did. It kicked ours too, every one of us. I don't think anyone among us has ever worked harder in a shorter period of time because we had to. But the clients, the ones who leaned in and who went further, but then there are other people. You've got all of your employees. You've got everyone depending on you too. And there were some people who just froze in fear, like just apoplectic and angry and looking for someone to blame and hold accountable and punish them. That didn't serve people well. So I think that the times right now are really a magnifying glass on what's always been true to begin with. And that's look at your inherent strengths and your inherent nature. Bring out your best and know that it's going to come out in spite of you. When you slip from the platform, which direction are you going to slip, and what is that going to mean, and what can you work with and strengthen? I had an interesting talk with one of my dearest friends recently. We've had a few talks about this. What do you want to instill in your children, and what kind of legacy, and what do you want to leave for them? And I said, not money so much, but resilience and resourcefulness. That would be their wealth. Because money can be lost, it can be stolen, it can be hacked, but your resourcefulness and resilience with a smaller sum of money is going to mean a lot more to you as what I could leave behind if I had the ability to do so. So that's where we are. And I love the stories. I've even written several lately about companies who just intuitively or inherently started 2020 before anybody knew there was going to be a crisis, saying, okay, we're going to measure our company by impact first. Or we're going to do and set that mission. And then when crisis struck, they kept to those goals. And especially the ones, I have to really acknowledge some of them who got really creative, not just, oh, we're short on money, but we still need to contribute, but just said, what have I got that other people need? I've got access to China and manufacturing. That's a company, Dynamic Advertising Solutions. That's a company out of Philly who just said, we've got this avenue that most people lost. We can do this. Brought 94,000 PPE masks and gave them to the Children's Hospital, not for the healthcare providers because they've got to use regulation equipment, but they were thinking about the parents and the family members and the frightened child who's sick, who can then have their parents safely in there with them. So, that's not a situation anybody plans ahead for. You don't wander into an emergency room prepared with a mask. You're there, and that child is terrified. But to think about what can I do uniquely and where can I make the most meaningful impact in my community, and, teaching courses to the university entrepreneurs and hiring some of them who take hold and rise out of that, and creating positions for the disabled. Yes. That don't just give them a menial job, but really incorporate them and have meaning and empower the people who are some of the most hard hit by everything that's just descended upon us. Those are the people I so acknowledge. And I think we need to instill that kind of, and these are the people too, who they become a stronger business because they deserve to be a stronger business.
Yes.
And when it comes to PR, they're not looking to be seen like to congratulate themselves, but to share what they've learned and make an impact, and to share something like you did. That was vulnerable to have to say, yeah, my site got hacked. Instead of, I'm this global award winner.
Right.
Which people, it's like, oh, proud of you, and pass it by. But now you've said something that applies to everyone, or they fear could, and you got their undivided attention, and now they care. And now they want to learn about why that's so important to you, why you're so passionate about it, and what you need to do to be successful. So I think all of these are things that play well in PR, but they also play well in life and in business. They're really integrated. They're one and the same. You don't have a public persona and a private person. You're the same. And if you think you're not, then you're going to trip in some potholes, because you really are. So
thank you for saying that. I think that right there is a huge piece that people need to understand and really absorb. You know, you hear a lot of people say, be your authentic self, be, wear yourself out on the sleeve would maybe be an old way of saying it. However, the truth of the matter is, what you put out there should be the real deal, and who it is that you are. And in truth, if you're not, it's going to come back to get you someday, because it is always found out. And it's much easier to be who you are and be real about it and embrace it. Embrace whatever that is. And if you feel called to do something, go and do it authentically. And that's one of the things that keeps coming back to me, even as the coach Cheryl that you are, because you look at who you had on your team too. You had a lot of people that showed up very authentically, and that is kind of their brand too, exactly. In many, many ways. And they continue to do it now, because now you look at it, we are at 2021. This started, in truth, towards the end of 2018. That's a long period of time that you can look at some of these people, these impactors, and ask, are they the real deal? Are they the real deal? And now going forward, if you're thinking about being an impactor, really examine why. And then if you feel that it is something that you believe in at the tip of your toes and you're willing to work through the midnight hours, then join, because I believe in it. What would you like to say going into 2021, an intentional word or a nugget that you would like to share with everyone as we close?
I would say, don't forget, whether you enter this or not, you already are an impactor.
Yes.
Whether it's intentional or accidental, it's there. And, the saying, how you do anything is how you do everything, is true. Even if you run a for-profit company that has employees, if that company has as its first agenda supporting the community, supporting lives, you win. That embeds a culture that has people participating out of their genuine passion, not because you were cracking a whip. And it makes all the difference. So you are an impactor. Be the best impactor you can be wherever you are, and see how you can build it and increase it from there.
I love it. I love it. I told everybody that we would be making a case why Cheryl Snapp Conner is truly the service hero that she is. And I believe we have done that. Thank you for being here with us in the show today. And
thank you. I appreciate it.
You do for so many. Okay, everybody. See you on Friday. Bye.